Okay, so just a quick reminder of what we're going to be building in this specific lecture is this tiny delete button. I know this seems like a very, very tiny piece of functionality. Trust me, the application will come together as we go throughout these lectures. So first thing we want to do is let's take a look at the Lightning design system. Just click Get Started, and we're going to want to go to Components, and we want to take a look at buttons. So the default button is just a simple text. Now, you might be tempted to use something like this that is more bold and looks more like a traditional button. You can do that, but I would highly suggest trying to follow the guidelines within the actual SLDS. And the reason for that is they took a lot of time and care to do this in a way that it would build not only just a a good style, but also a good UI experience. So you kind of have to use the components appropriately. Otherwise, you could make it look like Salesforce, but it could be a horrible UI experience. So let's take a look at destructive. This would be appropriate because it would say we'd want it to delete the actual button. So I think it makes sense to use that delete the destructive changes. This is just the component here, button class SLDS button, and then we'll add the SLDS button destructive. So let's go to our developer console. Okay, so we still have all of our test app and stuff. Let's keep the test app for now. Because we can, as we build new components, we can use it. So let's save that, clear that out, get rid of simple button. Let's just close out everything. Now let's do a file new Lightning component. And when you're building components for a specific application, it makes sense to namespace them because it's easy for it to get disorganized. It is a good idea to have some sort of prefix to keep things organized, or at least grouped together. So for us, we could do to do, and then delete button, and submit. Okay, so we have our component bundle created. Now because we'll be adding this in to the test app, which already has the SLDS loaded, we don't really have to do too much other than use classes. So let's go back to that SLDS. Let's copy this button, and let's go back to our developer console, paste that button in, and we'll just take a look at this as is. Let's save that, and then let's add this in C to do delete button. Save that and then preview. Okay, so there's that default button that's created. It doesn't really do anything right now, which is fine. Let's add that appropriate class. So let's go back here, and we want this SLDS button destructive class. So let's see if, yeah, there we go. Okay, so if we go back here and go back to our delete button, so we would want to add that button destructive class right here, and then if we go back to our test app and then update preview, we'll see the button take on that shape, which is great. Okay, so let's change the text on this to delete and save it. Perfect, so we have our delete button created.